Very, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to an amazing book launch that is about to happen in a couple of minutes. This is a very emotional day for AHAVA Communications because this is our 50th book launch. And the book to be launched this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is called The Treasures of the Sun God by none other than Arun Gupta, who lived most of his years in Canada and is back all the way to his hometown in Kolkata today. All the panelists and our esteemed moderator have given us the feedback that it's an amazing book, and ladies and gentlemen, you will discover in the course of the discussion why they have recommended this book very, very highly to book lovers. And before we start, I would request you to kindly put your cell phones on silent mode, please, or switch them off. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I take great pleasure in introducing the author Arun Gupta, who did his schooling in Kolkata, completed his Bachelor's of Science in Presidency College, currently Presidency University. He then went on to obtain his Bachelor of Technology from IIT Kharagpur and Master of Business Administration from IIM Kolkata. During his professional career, he worked in India, Malaysia, Oman, Dubai, and Canada in operations, research, and information technologies. Being an engineer, Mr. Gupta has tried to analyze the legends of Konark using scientific thoughts. This book is a culmination of those thoughts, ideas, and questions around this incredible monument. Ladies and gentlemen, as I ask my partner Shushrato to felicitate Mr. Arun Gupta, will you please put your hands together and welcome him with all the warmth and affection Calcutta can offer. Thank you. Thank you, audience. We have with us a great educationist this afternoon, Dr. Anuradha Das, who is the director of Garden High International School and Garden High School, Shonarpur. She's also a chief academic advisor of Shrotikanto Guho Foundation. Dr. Das completed her PhD in high energy nuclear physics from Jadavpur University and postdoctorate work with collaborations with SERA Geneva and Formulab USA. She has been in the field of education for 42 long years, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a long round. 44 years. 44 years. Give it a big round for Dr. Das. Onjita, I would request you to felicitate Dr. Das. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Das, for coming this afternoon in spite of not keeping well. Thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, another distinguished personality who needs no introduction in Kolkata, Dr. Julie Banerjee Mehta. Dr. Julie Banerjee Mehta is a Calcutta girl educated in Loreto House and Loreto College. She worked as a literary reviewer and features editor in Australia, Singapore, and Bangkok, and went on to earn her second master's and doctoral degrees in English literature and South Asian studies at the University of Toronto. A specialist in post-colonial and world literature, she taught in the Department of English and Canadian Studies program for many years at the University of Toronto. And holds several prestigious fellowships. Dr. Mehta's translation of Tagore's play Dakghar, or Post Office, was performed by Pleiades Theatre Toronto to critical acclaim and earned her the title of one of the 16 most influential South Asians in Canada. She's currently a columnist for T2 Telegraph and resides in Calcutta, teaching postgraduate English at her alma mater, Loreto College. Ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Julie Mehta, please welcome her. Thank you, Julie Dee, for being here. It's our honor to have you on the panel. Oindrila Dutt. Who can introduce Oindrila Dutt? I will not stop. There are a lot of people who would love to know more about you. Oindrila Dutt, who is an arts and events curator and presenter, having presented events at heritage venues such as Raj Bhavan, Princep Memorial, Lasker Monument, Town Hall, and so on. She has worked with renowned, acclaimed artists such as Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia, Amitabh Bachchan, Usha Uttup, Malika Sarabhai, and many, many more celebrities. She has been a broadcaster and a moderator who has interacted with the late Yash Chopra, Mahesh Bhupathi, Jaya Bachchan, Malika Sarabhai, Shobha De, Smriti Irani, and others. She's also a freelance writer, having written a book on the Kolkata police, columns for leading dailies, such as the Telegraph and the Times of India, and articles for a variety of publications. She has her own organization named as Open Doors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Oindrila Dutt on the panel. Dr. Devanita Chakraborty is Associate Professor of English at Sri Shiksha College. After Jadavpur, she did her PhD from the University of Reading. She was subsequently a Charles Wallace Scholar with a visiting fellowship at University of Southampton. Dr. Chakraborty has hosted several literary events with Ian Rankin, Ruskin Bond, Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni, Ashwin Sanghi, and Amish Tripathi, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Dr. Devanita Chakraborty. Thank you so much for being with us. A very popular face in the city, Saira Shah Halim, is a social and peace activist, TEDx speaker and educator, a writer, a theatre personality, image and brand consultant, and a free spirit. Saira is a part of Kolkata Swasthya Sankalp, a low-cost dialysis unit. For the underprivileged. Her short film, Ek Khas Aadmi, can be viewed on YouTube, on NDTV Talkies. Recently, she was awarded with the SARC Women's Award by the SARC Women's Association Dhaka for her contribution in the cultural, literary, and bilateral contribution with SARC countries at Dhaka in 2019. Saira is a columnist with India Today and writes on policy and governance. Ladies and gentlemen, Saira Shah Halim. Thank you, Saira. So happy to have you with us this evening. And our moderator this evening, none other than Professor Ashok Vishwanathan. He's a national and international award-winning filmmaker who is former professor and dean at Satyajit Ray and Television Institute, Kolkata. He has directed more than 150 film projects, including feature films, documentaries, short and television shows. Apart from the national awards, he has had 5 Indian panorama entries at the IFFI, is a Charles Wallace Scholar at Cambridge, and has won the Disha Hari PFJA, Kalakar and Jaisis Awards, besides the Silver Torchlight Award at Pyongyang. He has been a visiting professor at Tufts University, Boston, and Monmouth University, New Jersey. Thank you, Ashokda. Ladies and gentlemen, for Ashok Vishwanathan. Before I hand over the proceedings to our moderator, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great moment for Mr. Arun Gupta and his family, because in a few seconds, I will request the panelists, along with the author, to formally launch the book. And I would request his daughter, Arundhati, who has come here all the way from Canada, and our publisher of Excellers, Dr. Sudipta Kumar Ghosh, to please join the panelists to launch the book. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a loud round of applause for this very, very special book launch this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mona rightly said this is an historic occasion. It is historic in more senses than one.
The book spans from 8th century AD to the current time, and the whole events in the book are connected by whatever has been done by the Eastern Ganga dynasty of Orissa in the 12th, 13th century.
How many years it takes to?
It took about 15 months to write the book.
What kind of inspired to do this kind of?
See, when I was very small, I was 5 or 6 years, we used to have a house in Puri, Orissa, and from that time till now, I must have visited Puri and Konark for more than a dozen times, and every time I saw the Konark temple, it is not the full temple anymore. The actual temple has been destroyed, but the visitors' part is still open. I was mesmerized by whatever it had, and when I grew up, I delved into its history and its mystery, and I found out that there are various possibilities that how this temple was built, why this temple was built, and how this temple was destroyed. And it means that there are unfathomable reaches under the ocean near this, and there will be always treasure hunters coming in for this. Now, when treasure hunters come for this, the only way they can be protected or they can be prevented from doing so by small people like us, who does not have any intention of using these riches for our own benefit.
Yes, it's an interesting read, and I'm sure it will appeal to students, youngsters of this generation, and it will actually help us educators to show them the link between the sciences and the humanities, that you need both, and you cannot really compare one with the other, but take both in your stride through life. That's what I feel, and it's an interesting way of letting different students in different streams to know about history and to think about how you can be sensitive to your surroundings. Thank you.
A wonderful experience of world literature, of global literature, and I hope Mr. Gupta's book about the treasures of the sun god will find a global audience, because the readership will find every aspect of India's traditions and India's modernity coming together, juxtaposed together in a seamless sutra. I would recommend this book for students as well as people who are just ordinary readers, because it brings to mind what the mysteries are behind the great temple of Konark. It also brings in ideas of how Hindu principalities during the time of the 13th century were extremely well governed, and though it was kingship and royalty, they were extremely meticulous in the way that they preserved their tradition and their histories. Very well written book, and I think this will hit a high once it becomes more prevalent to other readers.
I think what was fascinating is the juxtaposition of the historic. What is ancient history about our traditions, about the rich heritage that we have in this country, and the ultra-modern, the technically advanced times that we live in. So we have the Konark story in all its glory, 13th century, 15th, 17th century. And on the other hand, we have mini subs, exploration underwaters today. Yet, it is a reflection of Narasimha Deva and Amba, and now the current Maddie and the two sets of romance is one set and the other one. But I find that really nice. There's romance, there's crime, there's suspense, and there's our country's heritage. As somebody said today, it's multi-plural. We're trying to show that this country welcomed everyone with open arms. We should remember that. That's what made it a great country. And there are great lessons in that. And Konark itself is absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Well, it was a very interesting book launch that we had today. The Treasure of the Sun God by Arun Gupta. A very important book in my opinion, because it combines historical fiction with documentation and has a very interesting climax, you know. It can be even called a thriller in a certain sense. So it's a combination of genres, but the historicity is of the most importance as far as I'm concerned.
So it was a pleasure to be on the panel for this fascinating book, The Treasure of the Sun God by Mr. Arun Gupta. I think he's written a very fetching account of the socio-political climate of the 13th century. Though the book is a fiction, but it gives the readers a great perspective of how things were during, like Lord Narsimha. Now here the sun god, we all have been to Konark, but here the sun god is personified and we see the person as an entity, as a living real person. What his relationship was with his parents, his wives, his siblings, his children. And overall there's this air of mystique around Konark. I also felt there's an air of esotericism. There's an air of mystery, and I think the mystery of Konark starts unraveling in this book. So do pick it up. It's a compelling read, and a lot of readers will resonate to parts of the book itself. It's fascinating. You will really travel back in time and understand the history of Kalinga. How these temples stood the test of time. So do give it a read.